What a shame that Ash is moving in the worst series of Pokemon.
Journeys is a complete mess in every possible way.
Journeys is worse than the best wishes. Pokemon Journeys sucks. Overhyped and underdelivered. Journeys was a bad series. Overall, Journeys was a failure.
Pokemon Journeys, one of the most controversial series in the entire history of the Pokemon anime. But how did this supposedly amazing series with Ash traveling to any region, previous characters returning, and even Ash becoming champion of the world fail? In order to fully understand this, we gotta go back about 3 years ago from today, where I was sitting at my desk rewatching the entire Sun and Moon series. I was at the point where I had to witness Ash yet again ditch his friends that he just spent an entire year traveling with to go on a new adventure somewhere else. However, what I didn't realize was Pokemon dropping a brand new series called Pokemon Journeys. Little did I know this was going to become one of the most hated series in the history of the Pokemon anime. But anyways, I was like, heck yeah, this series is about to be awesome. And here's the thing. I didn't have any previous knowledge of what's to come, unlike everyone else who was losing their minds over this series. I just popped a few episodes in because I already was invested in Ash after Sun and Moon, but it wasn't until episode 10 when my entire perspective about Pokemon Journeys completely shifted. And I'm talking about when I witnessed Ash catching a poopin' legendary. Nah, he just caught Dragonite. But still, a pseudo legendary, 3rd stage, fan favorite Pokemon, and we were only on the 10th episode. Like, I don't know if you understand, but Ash rarely ever catches 3rd stage Pokemon, especially not ones like Dragonite, who's one of the strongest Kanto Pokemon. And if he does happen to catch one of these S tier Mons, it's usually towards the middle or end of the series. But episode 10? Journeys was literally something we had never seen before. If you thought Ash catching Dragonite was cool, oh boy are you in for a big surprise. Because only 6 short episodes later, Ash caught a Gengar. And I was like, bruh, Gengar, one of Pokemon's most iconic Pokemon, and it's in Ash's pocket. But it doesn't stop there. 5 episodes later, and what do you know? Ash hatches a Riolu. Alright, I'm done. Everyone is hyped up, okay? At this point, I'm convinced the Pokemon Company is just gonna give Ash fan favorite Pokemon that we've wanted him to catch for years. But then he ended up catching just Dragovish, Nolo, and Farfetch. But hey, I ain't complaining. The cherry on top was episode 25. In this episode, I was 100% confirmed to be a Pokemon fan, because as soon as I saw Karina come back, it was over, bro. I said, this is already the best series, like, come on, bro, it's a wrap. They didn't just bring back a fan favorite gym leader from one of the greatest series of all time, XY. This battle was as hype as Ash losing to Alon in the finals. I mean, what? We finally got Mega Evolution back in the anime, great fluent animations, and Dragonite absolutely dominating, surviving both Karina's Pokemon like it's nothing. Man, this was such a time. Shout out to you if you experienced Pokemon Journeys in the early days. As awesome as this side of the series was going, there was another side of Pokemon Journeys leading to an inevitable catastrophe that was hiding behind the awesome battles and cool Pokemon Ash was catching. Let me get this straight. There has never been a perfect Pokemon series. XY, most would say, was the closest to being perfect, but even XY had its fair share of problems, including boring filler episodes, being slowly paced, and Team Rocket showing up in every episode and causing a bunch of chaos. Pokemon Journeys was also not immune to this. We had great moments, and then there's this guy. Who is this guy, you may ask? This is Go. Who's Go? He's a pretty controversial character, and a key part in Pokemon Journey's downfall. On the surface, this new character Go seems pretty cool. He's a newbie to Pokemon and is mentored by Ash. He also wants to capture every Pokemon in existence. Now while that idea is very unique, because most characters' goals are usually to be good at contests, or helping Pokemon, or making good food, or floating in a bubble, Go is like catching every Pokemon. That's quite a jump. To me, that's on the same level as Ash wanting to become a Pokemon Master, except Go's is a bit more straightforward, because he's just filling up a Pokedex. Yet the problem lies in the very goal itself. If you want to catch every Pokemon, you're gonna have to find and battle and throw your ball at all... How many are there? 1,025 Pokemons. That's a lot, although on paper, it wouldn't be that bad, right? Ash is already kind of maxed out in development, so it's a perfect time to build up this new character over the course of the next few series, perhaps? Nope, they decide to try and complete his goal all in one series. So every time Ash isn't doing something, it's just go throwing Pokeballs in every direction. And you'll be like, well, that's a novice move. You first have to battle each Poke. What the? He just caught them all? The fans, myself included, we're not gonna let this slide. He's not catching all these Pokemons on the first try. This is really messed up on a writing standpoint because Ash had to battle his way and sit for long periods of time spent bonding with his Pokemon before catching them. Go's like, nah, I see you, now you're mine. And that's just the beginning of bad things Go did during this period. Here are a few more things Go did. Go catching 3rd stage Pokemon without battling it, Go catching legendary Pokemon with normal Pokeballs, Go defeating strong Pokemon even though it hasn't even been 30 episodes since he's become a trainer, Go giving battling advice to Ash, Go acting like Ash, Go never using his Pokemon, Go taking up all the screen time, and Go acting sus. So after a while, Pokemon heard the complaints about their new Pokemon Go advertisement and eventually scrapped the idea of Go catching every Pokemon to just catching Mew. Bruh, not even Red could catch Mew. There's no way this new character is gonna catch Mew. This, however, was just one of many cracks that started to show in Pokemon Journeys. And since we're on the topic of characters, let's address the absolute boringest of them all. And this, of course, is Chloe. Who's Chloe? I don't know. And that's the problem. Who the heck is Chloe? Oh, she's the 3rd unofficial member to help Ash and Go travel, and I fondly remember at the start thinking Chloe was gonna join the two, which she eventually did. She just, did absolutely nothing. I mean, besides catching an Eevee, that Eevee pretty much defined Chloe, just another Pokegirl with an Eevee. Oh, she likes contests? Woo. Basically, Chloe was a dead end from the start, but back then we had no idea. However, what we did have an idea of was, well, the next crack in the show. Filler. If you thought Kanto or Johto had a lot of filler, you are gonna love Pokemon Journeys, cause it's the master of fillers. In fact, they even innovated filler to make even more filler. Which I'm referring to the 2-parter episodes introduced to us here for the very first time and last time. Filler episodes are just supposed to be about wasting time and stalling for the next big event, and usually writers get creative so that you stay invested. But Pokemon was like, nah, we're gonna make 2 useless stories and put them into 1 episode. Okay, like, it could work, it could, right? But Journeys just makes the boringest fillers imaginable, like this one where they are racing with turtle Pokemon, or this one where Ash and Go become jacked. That one was pretty funny. Or this time when a Pokemon is stuck in a crack. Originally, the writer said Ash and Go were going to travel the world, revisit regions from the past, and yet 90% of the time they were just in Kanto, sitting in Cerise's lab, also where Go's Pokemon prison was. You could argue, but it wasn't all bad. They got to visit with returning characters from old regions when they eventually decided to travel. And so they did, and I'm not gonna lie, that was great. I liked that they showed off the characters again, but even the simplest things they messed up on. For example, you would see a character like Paul, who was a surprise return, super hype, and Pokemon just destroyed his character entirely. Why was Paul not in the World Coronation series after they alluded to the fact that he would be fighting against Ash again all the way back in Sinnoh?
Paul and Ash, someday soon, they'll both be entering the Champion League, and how I look forward to that day.
Hey, Paul, didn't you want to enter the World Coronation series?
I'm not interested in noisy crowds.
Why was he only there for 1 episode just to leave again? Does Pokemon not remember who Paul is? The man that made Ash think about his entire battling strategy? The man who mentally and physically tortured his Pokemon to level up and battle for him? Just to abandon them if they didn't meet his standards? The man who beat Ash so hard he almost woke up from his coma? Nah, but seriously, the amount of characters Pokemon mishandled while trying to appeal to the older audience is crazy. Oh, and how they handled my boy Lon. Oh yeah, that was rough. XY fans, they were not happy about that one. Since we're talking about Journeys mishandling things, I have to say Ash's battles were handled so incredibly garbage. Who on earth in Pokemon HQ would decide to skip Ash's battles in place of Go? You see, during the halfway point in Pokemon Journeys, Ash ended up taking the back seat for the majority of the time because the writers realized that Go could very well be the future of the Pokemon anime. So they started to make him more involved in episodes. And that would be all sunshine and rainbows if people actually liked Go. But they didn't. So we were forced to watch this kid easily catch Pokemon and talk about how Ash doesn't know Pokemon typings. In what world, Pokemon, does Ash forget Pokemon typings? Like, I get we're trying to show how he was mentally unstable after losing to B, but losing to crappy trainers and forgetting Pokemon types after all that Ash has been through does not and never will make any sense. The only thing keeping Journeys breathing at this point was Ash's battles, because when Ash did have a good battle, it was good, really good. But that, and maybe other characters making cameos, was the only thing making the show watchable. Even when they tried to revive Go's character with Project Mew, that ended up being kinda boring and not much better than him catching Pokemon. Gary was the only upside to that side gig. But that's what I mean, like, all the goods about Pokemon Journeys is really taken from past series of the anime. all the new things they tried to do failed because it was either boring or it just didn't make any sense. But what really poured gravy into the mashed potatoes was deciding that the show would be episodic. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying episodic TV shows are bad. I'm saying that for Pokemon and the way Ash's journey has always been, it was a horrid idea from the get. I'll say it again, from episode 1 through 25, it felt strong. Story was progressing at a nice pace, good and exciting things were happening when they needed to, and overall, it felt similar to a coherent story. Back in the old days, you would have a reason to watch the fillers because it's part of Ash's journey, and while he was approaching the next city or gym, they would have a few fillers to fill in those gaps. But with this new episodic direction, you can skip those episodes and nothing about the story would change. As long as they are not catching Pokemon, learning new moves, or meeting new characters, why watch them? It's low quality, dumb episodes with bad humor. Now I can't talk about the problems and journeys without mentioning the ending, and I'm sure by now you have heard the news. Ash beat everyone, including Cynthia, who he originally thought was his toughest opponent, as well as Leon, the #1 ranked trainer in the whole wide world. But Ash, Ash, who lost to Kids with Squids just 100 episodes prior, who forgot Pikachu can't use Thunderbolt against the ground type, the dude who got brand new Pokemon in the series and used them to fight Mr. Best in the World and won. To be fair, Ash cheated. I don't care what you say, he cheated. And I know Leon allowed him to use all the gimmicks like Mega Evolution, Dynamax, and Z moves, but still, he cheated because you can't do that. Basically, what I'm trying to imply here is that Ash should not have won. It's not that I didn't want him to win the series, it's just that by how it was going, how he didn't use Pokemon from the past that were more powerful, and how he was by far the most inconsistent battler out of all of those who participated, he still outperformed everyone and became champion. You can't just expect me to believe that. But whatever, the battles were cool, I guess. They were trying to write off Ash from the show, I get that. But at least make it look more probable. Long story short, Pokemon Journey sounded like everything we could have ever dreamed of in a Pokemon series. But because the ideas were a little out there, it led to many mistakes, and sadly, it created one of the worst written series. It may not have been the worst, because there were a lot of high highs, like the league battles, but also a lot of low lows, ultimately leading to the series failing in the end. I usually never ask for subscribers in my videos, but after seeing this graph that everyone shows, mine is just... it's a little embarrassing, okay? If we could get at least 10%, I don't know. But thanks for watching, and join my Discord. Bye!